entryways start to look a little blah. So one way to really pick it up is to do winter planters, and every year I say, I'm gonna do this, and every year I don't. So please walk me through the way that we can make beautiful winter planters so that it looks good all throughout the winter.
Yeah, so first thing is really important to focus the kind of pot that you have outdoors.
Yes.
If it is a pot that will break when water expands, so if it has soil in, once that expands, it could freeze and crack that pot. So we don't want that to happen. That's why it's a good idea to get a pot that you can just kind of set inside your pot. So it's going to keep the moisture out and things.
Yes.
What you want to do is, a lot of the times you've heard about Oasis, and Oasis is this stuff right here.
Yeah.
But with Oasis, it's really kind of light. So I really like to take some Oasis, an Oasis block, sink it in with some soil, because that's going to add some weight to that pot.
Got it.
And by doing that on those windy winter days, we're not going to have it blow over.
Right. And do you care what kind of soil you're putting into that? Do you need to use the potting soil, or does it not really care?
It's the cheapest soil that you can find.
Okay, good.
It's the cheapest, and because then you can still stick stems into the outside, into that soil.
Yes.
But it's the cheapest. And by setting this cheap pot inside, we're going to protect our existing pots that are there.
Okay, good.
So when you're building,
Yes.
first thing you want to do is to start with your drama, your height,
Yes.
which is your thriller. Then you want to fill in with some spiller, and then at the end, almost like cake decorating,
Yeah.
you want to accessorize. So
Yes.
why don't we have Devin come on in?
You helped him, so why doesn't
Yeah.
he help you now?
So Devin, I've kind of given you some basic instructions. While we talk about these other ones, you just go ahead and build.
I'm really nervous.
Whatever you want.
Yeah. It's kind of like
You're gonna be
kinda
fine,
like
Dev.
plating. Okay,
You do
so
whatever you want.
Let's talk about some themes for this upcoming
This is
season.
so pretty. So the
Yes.
blue and the white, what's the theme?
Blue and white. It's almost that frosty look. So you can
Yes.
see what you have here is some
Frozen.
spruce. You have some eucalyptus, some blue accessories in terms of the Christmas balls that are there.
Yeah.
Really quite nice. And that's really, what you want to do is create a theme that you're going to start off in your front entranceway, and that can carry through right into your home.
Do you know what my concern is? How is this going to last all throughout the winter?
100%.
Is there anything on here that's going to die?
Well, if we had a heavy snow, these ones here are not bad.
Okay.
But overall, there's nothing here that's that's the key. When you're selecting items for your winter planters, you want to make sure that they're frost tolerant.
Got it.
That's why, you know, when you're using stems like this, eucalyptus can take it. The evergreen, of course, really,
fine.
really good.
Okay,
So,
good.
one of the biggest themes this year, and I'm just going to
This
flip
is
this
so
around.
pretty. Look at
Just so
this
you can take
one.
a
Isn't
look at
that
it.
so nice?
Yeah, so
I think it's gorgeous.
So copper is right in. Turn it on, turn it on, turn.
Let's do
turn
it.
it on, turn it on.
That's amazing.
So
It's beautiful.
a big color this year is in terms of the copper. And just like I
Yes.
said, with Devin's working away over there, you have your thriller in the middle, forgive me. Then you have all your fillers in, and then there's your accessories. But by adding this ball in, and then on these are the little battery operated copper lights.
Right.
Fantastic. That's a little bit of whimsical.
Okay, so you don't
add.
actually have to buy the ball that's lit. You run your own lights,
You can
and we
run
all
your
know
own
where you
lights.
can find those little battery operated.
I've seen them at the dollar store. I've seen them everywhere.
Yes, that's beautiful.
So copper's really in. Another big
pretty
one
blue.
too is blue. Blue is a
Nice.
color that we've been seeing in interior decor. This one here, very simple, where you have a little bit of birch bark that's there.
Yeah.
Adding a reef even inside of that urn. You know, usually that's something they're going to throw on the door, but you can see in that setting's perfect, filling up that space. You want to add something to the center there that draws the eye, that gets people to say, no, that's cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
And it's also, the bigger it is, the less you have to be fiddling with a whole bunch of other things to fill it in. Like, that's what's really practical about having something big. Deb, how's it going over there?
How are you making out? He's doing really good so far.
Actually, that's way better than anything I would do, so keep going. That's awesome.
It's kind of like plating.
It's kind of like plating,
Yeah,
right?
you always want height and textures and like contrast, and you know.
See, I don't think like that. That's why mine don't look like that.
It's like plating.
Very good. Okay, let's talk about this one.
So traditional, of course, is just where you're adding just some. This is really simple, really quick. You can see it's a little bit more loose in its appearance. But whenever you do red and green, it's a color that's always going to be a Christmas color.
Yeah.
You're never going to fail. If you want to do one color that you're never going to fail with, red and green. And remember, with some of the magnolia leaves that we have here, that beautiful kind of almost gold to brown on the backside goes really good with the red that you have. It's a really great filler. And if you ever have spaces, the other thing that you can do is ribbon. Large ribbon is always great to fill the space. So if you're a little bit low on budget, fill those spaces in with ribbon. And then this here is just pine. And this pine could be, you can find this exact pine on almost any roadside. And then finally, you got
That's really nice. Do you care about, will the magnolia leaves last all winter long?
Depends on how cold it gets. For viewers in Calgary, they can blacken a little bit. But overall, they're pretty good. Rose gold, another great color theme
That
that we
one's
have
cool,
there really
Frankie.
quickly. And then, of course, on the far side, the window box. This is all from Sheridan.
Yep.
That chartreuse green's great. And you can see, look at Devin. He's getting there. Look.
Deb, give it up for Deb. Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
A little tall.
We're going to get him to keep working on it, and we're going to go to break. We got more coming up.